Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first ever Not Your Echo Chamber podcast interview. It's me, your host, Christopher Walgast. Jeremiah Walgast is not with us today, so it's just going to be me. I'm going to be interviewing our special guest today, Matthew Gitto.
Hey, everyone. I've had a couple,
Donuts?
No, I have had a couple donuts, but I've had a couple mentions on this podcast.
That's true. Also, I would like to mention that you've also starred on some of our videos. You appeared briefly on episode 3. You were there for the first sports ball update before our Baja.
Yes, Baja.
Our Baja ad, and you got to slurp directly into the microphone. You also did our man test video with the tape measure. Our man on the street video, and you also prominently starred in our latest video, posted since today, Thursday, which was
the Super Bowl one.
Yeah, this me and the boys at halftime.
Yes, and I was chugging in Baja and
you crushed a can against your head. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out on our YouTube channel, Not Your Echo Chamber Podcast. Definitely check that out. Anyways, what I know Matthew for, we've known each other since we were born. Since you were born anyway, because you're like a couple years older than me. We both gone to the same church our whole life.
You're a couple years older than me.
Yeah, I'm a couple of years older than that. Yeah. If that's not what I said, it's what I meant.
Yes.
Listen to what I mean, not what I say. Anyway, we worked together since February of last year, actually. So
that's crazy.
It's been a year since you asked me to join you at your grandpa's tortilla kitchen.
Yep.
And making tortillas there and getting myself a new nickname.
Big White.
Big White, which...
Let's give a little backstory on that.
Yeah, so... we make 3 sizes of tortillas, 10-inch, 8-inch, and 6-inch, and we make white, wheat, and spelt. So shorthand for the 10-inch white is Big White. They just call it Big White. And one time, I think Matt mentioned, how many Big White are we going to make today? I said, Big White, and just at that moment, I was like, that's what they used to call me back in the day.
I think I asked you to, I said, can you go get some Big White?
Yeah.
And you're like, Big White?
Yeah, and I brought you some Big White. I certainly did. And we should also talk about your nickname.
Moose.
Yeah, Moose. So, how did you get your nickname Moose?
So it was years ago at camp, probably 3-4 years ago by now, and one of the staff members, I was at a volleyball court with a couple of staff members and counselors, and we were just sort of hitting the ball around, and one of the counselors, he's like, you know, Matthew, you know what you reminded me of? You remind me of a moose. And then they're like, and then the rest of the other people were like, yeah, you do remind me of a moose. So ever since then, it started at camp, and now it's filtering into my home life.
Yeah.
And so now a lot of people just call me Moose, especially people at camp. I'm strictly Moose at camp.
Yeah, that was like 2020-ish, I want to say.
No, 2021 it would have been. 2020 was the Mark year.
Oh, yeah.
Where people called me Mark because one kid, you thought I was Mark.
Well, Mark just naturally does come after Matthew, but in this case it came before.
Yes.
Came before Moose. Next I have on the show doc, you can see number D is zesty. So this is a word you probably say, I want to say it is 90% of the adjectives you say are just the one word zesty.
Is that zesty? Ooh, you got your zesty something there.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, you also play basketball for WISHA, which is the Washington County homeschool
athletics.
Okay, yeah, so you play basketball for them.
Yep.
You got a game tonight, which will be tomorrow night. Okay,
yeah.
which as this podcast comes out, is probably like 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And so all you have left is the regionals, February 20th.
And nationals.
Well, that's true after that.
Yep. In Springfield, Missouri.
But your season is pretty much already over, so.
Yep.
Yeah, so one of the main reasons I'm having you on today is because you want to actually join the podcast eventually, and you want to start out by starting this changing our segment sports ball update into like an actual serious, more in-depth update.
Yeah. Which
is kind of hilarious because first episode of the podcast, I did a disclaimer that no sports ever. We're not going to do sports.
You're like, this is my last sports thing on this podcast.
And I will tell you, sneak peek. You probably already heard it in today's episode, but or if we're gonna put this on the regular podcast, if it's short enough, I probably already did a Aaron Rodgers joke. So yeah, whatever.
Of Aaron Rodgers leaving the Jets.
Yeah, there's a few jokes. I guess I don't want to spoil any of it in case this comes out before I do the last week's news, but yeah. So, anyways, so you have some topics here you wanted to talk about.
Yes, I do.
So starting out, since you're not going to be on the main show, what is your weekly update?
My weekly update. So since we're recording this podcast on Thursday, I'm gonna go back to the last Thursday. I didn't do anything Thursday. I had basketball practice. Friday, I went to my grandpa also flips houses, so I went to one of his houses, and we just started demolishing walls and ceilings. And funny story, there was a bat that was in there, and it was flying around while we were working. And one of my coworkers, he grabs a shovel and he's just like swinging it in the air. He's flying it. The bat's flying it around. And he misses it once. I'm like, how do you miss the bat with a shovel? and then he finally clips its wing and it's flying outside. It's going up and up and up, and then it just finally just falls out of the sky and hits the ground. So that was Friday. Then Saturday we had one of our biggest games of the season. We played, it was our senior night, which, if you don't know, senior night is like it's usually like a really competitive game, and then all the seniors in high school, they give a little speech and give their mom a pretty flower. And it was super hyped, but there was a bunch of like old players there that were just doing the craziest chants and stuff.
Oh.
So yeah, that was my Saturday. Then Sunday was the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Where the Eagles won.
And you were on the podcast, and we got super hyped up. See our video, me and the boys at halftime.
Where I downed 4 Baja Blasts.
Wait, you did?
I had 4 Bajas.
I didn't know how many you did.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I had one right off rip, one during the podcast, and then I destroyed that one during the rave.
Working at Subway, I'm just so sick of soda. I had like half of a wild cherry, and I almost puked. So... yeah, that story you told about the bat, that's comparable to Jeremiah's dead bird kicking story.
Yeah, I heard that one.
He just kicked a dead bird. That was literally his weekly update. So
yeah, so Super Bowl kind of took up the whole day. Monday was nothing. Tuesday, I worked with the Tortilla Factory.
But I did not. It's like my first Tuesday not working with you in like a long time, because you're like... Yeah. Most of management is on vacation right now.
Yeah.
So
Tuesday we were kind of just doing some experimenting. We're trying to make some new sourdough recipes. So we were just kind of experimenting the whole afternoon. And then Wednesday, yesterday, I went back to the house and finished. We had a bunch of cleanup to do. We hauled out like 2 tons of drywall and wood and stuff.
Nice.
And then today we have a busy day of laser tagging.
Yep, laser tag. We're going to go to Taco Bell after this, which I'm hyped up for.
Shout out Baja Blast.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I'm not sure if I'm even ready to dive back into the giant Olympic-sized swimming pool of Baja Blast again. Because, I have a stockpile of the stuff. It has been making me sick. And I was going to refrigerate some to drink on the podcast, but it slipped my mind because I was doing podcast prep for the people.
What a truther.
Yeah, you guys will benefit from us not drinking Baja Blast right now, which it might improve the podcast. Who knows? Anyway, next we're gonna go through your testimony. So if you don't mind, like briefly sharing like part of your testimony, or like the most important part, or like how it affects you now and today. Because just real quick on that.
Yeah.
So testimony.
Grew up in a Christian home. Both my parents are saved. Went to church my whole life, still do. Got saved when I was 2017. No. Like I must have been like, what year is it? 2025?
2025.
8 years ago. So yeah, I'm 15 now. So, age drop.
Yeah.
So yeah, how it came along is our pastor was talking about if you were to die right now, where would you go? And then I'm like, well, of course I would go to heaven. And then on the way back from church, I was like, well, he was talking about, do you believe that Jesus died for your sins and rose again and conquered sin and paid for your sins so that you could live with him? And I'm like, So then that night I asked Jesus to come into my heart, and now I'm saved.
Nice.
Then, so classic young Christian. Didn't really do much as far as Christendom until I was like probably like I was just like a what people call a lukewarm Christian until I was like 14, and then I started taking it more seriously. Probably like 13 or 14. Then I started taking it more seriously. Now it's amped up a lot recently with the recent Bible study that we started, and me just like diving into the Word myself a lot more daily, and figuring out like that it's a relationship and not a religion.
Yeah.
And that means that actually helped me a lot. That I can just talk. God can be a friend and not just a being, I guess.
Yeah, not just
Like I can talk to him like if I'm like outside or like anything. I can just like it's almost like I don't know. It's almost like the concept of like an imaginary friend.
Yeah.
You just like talk to him whenever, but it's not imaginary, it's real, so it's way better than an imaginary friend.
I was gonna say you might want to put $1 into our heresy jar. God is my imaginary friend.
God is my imaginary friend.
That's like the atheist argument. God is my imaginary friend because he's not real. And since he's real in my head, I will commit my entire life to fighting against him and never becoming Christian. Anyway, thanks for sharing that. I found something similar in that. Like that's pretty much all the same as mine. I can't remember when I was saved. I remember I can't remember a day or like a certain message that was spoken. Like I just remember that I always never did not believe it. Like and I kept going through it since I didn't have that moment ever. It just always was like a natural thing with me. I always through my entire life I just went through this thing of I didn't have that moment. Am I really saved? And no matter what people would say, I'd always had this like gut feeling that it wasn't real. And back when we were just starting to remodel our house, I would just go out on walks and just be like completely like alone by myself, and I had like this crisis of faith. And I just went through it by myself. I didn't seek out any help. Later I did when I was 14-ish, but yeah, before then I was just completely wandering by myself, like not believing that just actively being a believer actually meant something.
Yeah. I think the day was, I would say it was June 27th, 2027. Or 2017 of the future.
2027. Oh, I didn't even hear that.
Yeah, 2017.
Wow. Yeah, I've never had that, so it's like kind of weird for me. Anyway, yeah, do you mind sharing a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, so 15, as you might have figured out.
From the age drop.
I've lived in the same area my whole life. I'm a farmer now. I live out in the country. I like sports a lot. I live in a sports family. I live in a big family of 8.
Can't remember how many people there are.
Yeah. I don't know.
You've got
go to camp.
5 brothers and 1 sister.
Yep, 1 sister.
The sister is the latest development in the family.
Precious little girl.
The long-awaited 6th edition to the kids.
Yeah. I like sports. I can't wait to get my license in 5 weeks.
Yeah, because that leads into the next part that I wanted to talk about. You wanted to restart or like revamp, even though we've only had 1 edition of the sports ball update, and make it more of like a comedy segment that you might host with Jeremiah, talk about sports news, your kind of takes on that and stuff. And it'd be like 10 to 15 minutes. You'd have commentary, all that. And it might be you with Jeremiah, and it might be you with, we have another friend who would probably be really good on that. He was super good on the last episode. Silas Kern, shout out. He was on that sports ball update, the first and second. He did super well. You might want to see him back on there. Yeah, post in the comments, too, about if you saw the episode, if you're interested in that kind of thing, anything at all, any comments on that. But the problem is we can't exactly start this episode for like another 6 weeks, because you don't have your actual license yet, so you have to keep...
Too young.
You have to keep waiting, and after April 5, you can get your license, right?
Yep. Well, April 2nd.
April 2nd.
I did the math. April 5th would be when you record.
Okay. Yeah, so April 5 might be the first time we do it if you're able to, if you get the car and like we figure out...
I have a car.
You do have a car? Oh,
Yep.
is it the truck or is it a different vehicle?
No, the F-150.
Oh, okay.
2010
Nice.
F-150.
Nice, not the old junky
No, we're
red
gonna
one
scrap that.
that's falling apart that you bought from Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I was gonna say this about the sports ball update. Most sports information is white noise to me. So like when I hear it, I'm just like, that's soothing to the ears that you know all that and you can repeat that back, but it doesn't mean anything to me. So like, I can just like listen. I can like listen to a sports podcast and not learn anything at all if I just like listen to it and it's like, that is the warm
That's
feeling
nice.
of the warm feeling of sports.
It's like falling to bed with going to bed with it.
Yeah, like the sports sauce flowing over me, like that's just what I can just listen to it and be like, jargon. The
Jargon?
The wonderful feeling of jargon.
Could we get a
flowing.
description on jargon?
Basically random like, buzzing kind of terms, like, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, I don't know how to describe jargon. Maybe can we get a quick Google search on
Sure,
what jargon
I got
means?
it. How you spell jargon?
JARGON. Live on the podcast. What does jargon mean?
Jargon, special words for expressions that are used by a particular profession or group and are difficult for others to understand.
Nailed it. Yeah. All right.
Difficult to understand. You got that right.
Yeah, that's true. For me, not being a sports person, that's quite difficult for me to understand what's going on.
There's just kind of a lot of information.
Yeah.
You just gotta be, your mindset's gotta be.
And speaking of that mindset, we also have to have a mindset of patience because it's going to be a little bit before that segment's coming. I know you can't wait to get started on doing that.
Yes, can't wait. I'll
Later
be studying as of now.
Yep.
Getting ready for I can practice and stuff on what kind of like articles and news and find a good source of news and stuff to find.
Yeah, and then maybe you'll join the actual podcast, record with us every week.
Yes.
You and me and Jeremiah.
That's the whole idea. That's the goal.
Yep. Which I think we do a pretty good podcast, the three of us.
Yes.
We've tried doing podcasts before and figuring out a way how to do all segments that we're all interested in and keep it going. This is like the best opportunity we've had to like create like a really good product and keep it going. So your addition will definitely be helpful, and this will be an amazing podcast. Anyway, I'd like to move this interview onto the next portion where we kind of have some more discussions about some topics that I'd like to bring up. First, I want to start out with development that happened probably the most recently of all the ones I have here, but it's taken place over the course of a little bit longer of a period of time. So basically, this has to do with our Discord server.
Oh, yes.
And I don't want to name names, and I don't want to get too deep into this stuff or like call out certain people on anything. But like basically, that thing's been a hellhole since the day it was created. It was
good for a hot minute, to be honest.
Yeah, it was like,
oh, this is cool. We can talk to each other without phones and stuff.
yeah, the direction of it was good for like a little while, and then it just spiraled into chaos. Like the only thing that was posted on there was, what can I possibly disagree with you on, and like how can I start a fight, not an argument or like a discussion. How can I start a fight? And like for me, it was awful because Discord just has this effect on me where like it's so unpersonal that when I like experience, like I do the Discord experience, it just fills me up with such rage to like see words without seeing a person. Just has this adverse effect on me, and I left it April of last year. I was just like, I can't take this anymore, and I left. And that was
the year since your
yeah,
revolution.
yeah. That was, and it's kind of been a while since then. But I've also gone through tons of stuff where like I was like attacked and dogpiled. I don't want to go name names or anything like that or be like call out anybody on anything, but like yeah, it was really hard on me, and it was like affecting my faith, and it was really bad for me. So I didn't like leave the server or anything. I just left being on Discord, and I didn't really do anything about it until actually you said something to me on one day.
Yeah, in like December.
Yeah,
I think it's been a couple months.
Explain like from the start, from you, what your observation of the Discord server was and how things.
So I'm gonna be honest. So when Christopher left in like April, I'm like, man, this guy's making a big deal about this. It's not that bad. And then it's like 2 months pass. It's like looking at the pet too fast. 2 months. It's like, yeah, maybe he's right. But it's like I don't want to be that guy that leaves and just. I don't want to be that guy. So I'm like, I will stick around. And it's like, then in like the fall, it's like, man, this is taking up a lot of my time. Like, this is taking up like an hour or 2 hours of my day, just like sitting here like watching conversations happen, arguing, and like just it wasn't that encouraging or anything. It was just kind of just nonsense, almost like that. So then in December, I'm like, I think there was discussions going on, and like I had enough. So then I just left the group chat without any explanation. I thought to myself, if they want an explanation, they can DM me, because I'll keep Discord, just leave the chat, because I didn't think that Discord was I don't think Discord was the problem. I thought the group chat was the problem. So
Yeah.
I just had I had like 4 or 5 people DM me on like why I left. I explained, and then they didn't take any offense, fortunately, so it moved on peacefully, and yeah, that was kind of my story.
And then you told me about it the following Tuesday after that, since I wasn't on Discord to know about it, and you told me that you just left the server, and I was speechless. I could barely believe that it happened. Like, I was just amazed. And that was probably one of the happiest moments of that period of my life. Because
I'm gonna be honest, when I left the server, when I left the group chat, like it almost felt like the same feeling when I got saved.
Yeah.
It was like a burden off my back.
Yeah, it's like
Not even exaggerating.
Yeah, like, because I didn't even realize what was happening until I just stopped. Until I just like stopped being on there. That I was just like choosing to rage against the machine constantly. It was just, I didn't realize how much it was. I was just destroying myself by doing that until I like got off. And like, holy crap, my life can be way freer if I just...
I was so much happier too. I had a smile on my face for like a whole hour after I left. I was like, multiple things. I was proud of myself for having the being man enough to leave, and proud of myself and happy that just like I have 2 hours of my day back.
Yeah, and I was, when I heard about that, I was so, and not only was I like this feeling of being alone was lifted off of me, I realized that I could also, nothing was stopping me from leaving, and the last thing I posted down there was like, Matthew is braver than me, and then I just left, and that was it. And nobody said anything. I deleted my Discord account like the second after. 2 weeks later, on December 31st, like right before midnight, my account got finally deleted, and that was just gone. And now it's out of my life. And I have to say, I don't miss it. And having text instead is such a thing I'm glad about. So I don't have to be like locked into the Discord universe of having that controlling me.
Yeah.
And yeah, so. One last thing I want to talk about on this topic is Discord itself. Do you think there's anything about the platform that's like that platform in itself could possibly be the reason that all this Discord is taking place? Because my guess is if it was just all of us in real life, all the people, the members of the server congregating in real life, having conversations, I assure you none of these would be happening.
Yeah, I agree.
The internet environment creates a space where it's easy to ridicule other people, to attack other people behind this like persona of like a cat meme or something.
Yeah.
Like behind like this profile, like you can just, I don't know, it just causes so much more strife in the world, and it's not even real. It creates a new space. It manufactures this space that's only meant for conversating in a way was not invented by God. It was a completely man-made invention. So what are your thoughts on that, about Discord being like this?
So I'll give you my whole thoughts. So I think it was good for like a whole month. Like, we joined one of our friends. She had her own server. I'm not gonna name any names, but so us guys from church, we joined pretty much all at the same time.
Maybe, all five or six of us.
Yeah, we all joined at the same time. It was good for like a month because we had never met the other people, and I think that was one of the problems. So like the first month is kind of like getting to know their personalities and stuff, like, but it's like a fake personality because the way you talk on the internet. at least some
You
people.
can't give tones.
Yeah.
You can't give body
Right,
language.
you
You can't
can't.
communicate real information that you
Right.
actually want to share. Like it's created a space for you to
Yeah.
share information that's mostly not important.
Yeah. So I think the biggest problem is we didn't actually meet in person first.
Yes,
I think it'd been so
I
much
totally
better.
agree with that.
I
I
think
would
it'd be
agree
so
with
much
that.
better if we met in person first and then started it.
I've implemented that rule in my own life now,
Yeah.
starting right now. Like talking to people on the internet before you meet them.
Yeah.
It seems like such an obvious thing to say and do, but
Right.
like I just something I have to be more serious about. Meet real
Because-
people before you talk to them.
Because if you never see the person or have never met them, you can say whatever you want to them because you don't even know who they are. So you can just say whatever you want because you've never seen them and you barely see them or you haven't seen them at all and you don't know how they'll take something. So
Yes, my final question to you is: do you think Discord is this thing that festers that kind of wound of
I think social media has that.
as a whole, like social media, like
It
DMs?
can. Yeah, like if like Twitter or like I'm sure there's a pile of people on Twitter that just get offended and just probably just wrecks their life or
Yeah.
their day. And I think social media in general is just hard for some people to just get past that. These people are just trying to be mean to you for no reason.
Yeah.
They're just out there to get you. Like there's this one channel that my mom follows, and they deleted their whole YouTube channel because there's just people on there that were just being so rude, and that their kids were finally getting to a certain age that they were reading the comments,
Yeah.
and that was not good a good environment for them to read the comments. Like, cause there's still good people in comment sections, like just saying nice things about what you're doing. It's encouraging. So the kids are starting to read them, and they're seeing all these awful things they're saying to their parents, or even about that person that they're reading. It's like, oh, so and so is the worst, and I hate this person. So they had to delete the channel because people are just being so rotten all the time.
Yeah, I do think social media is a big problem. It's supposedly it's one of those things that's like halfway between good and bad. That's like it's a tool or whatever. But it seems like at its base, it's festering an environment to start literal discord, like literally sowing seeds of discord among other people. Not just discourse, which is what it's supposed to be, but actually like, starting out with this flat thing, like a flat persona of somebody. It's easy to just be like, you're not real. You're just words on a screen.
Exactly.
And when you reduce
and a
people,
profile picture.
Yeah, and when you reduce someone to a profile picture and words on a screen, it's easy to see that as all they are and all they'll ever be to you.
Yeah.
So it's easy to bring out the worst parts of sinful nature, which we are all born with, and we have to have Jesus to save us from. So.
Also, I feel like sometimes, especially on the server, I saw what happening was, like, it would be like, how can I explain this? It would be like, someone would say something, and then another person would be like, yeah, get him.
Yeah, exactly.
And then other people would be like, dog pile, yeah, get him. Like,
the dog pile is the worst. I think
like you're on the ground, you're like, yeah, punch him, yeah, beat him again, yeah.
I think I mentioned that on the first episode of our podcast, even the dog pile that happened on there, about spoiling spoiling episode 5 of Star Wars. Anyway, let's not get into that because it's but. Yeah, the dog piling is so easy to do when you think there's someone behind you, and it's like there's no reason we ever have to stop, and so it's just like
in real life you don't see people like, I mean, obviously there's an occasion that it happens, and everything's happened pretty much, but it's like you never like if I say something hurtful and then other people's like, yeah, another hurtful thing, yeah, say it again.
Well, except for last Sunday.
Oh yeah.
We were playing a little pickup game.
Oh yeah.
Outside during the Super Bowl, like not during the Super Bowl, like right before, like in between that period where you're like at church and you're like at the Super Bowl and there's like that middle period.
Like 4 hours in between.
Yeah, and we were playing basketball and there was just no names named, but just all mean comments being exchanged. Like I was just sick and I just left. And actually, I'm like, you guys reorganize the teams. I'm out of here. Grab my red Solo cup and I was gone.
Shout out Toby Keith, rest in peace.
Yeah, Toby Keith. Okay, I think that's enough about that topic, but that was good. Yeah. Next topic I want to move on to is this isn't as big of a thing we see in our life. Maybe you have it more, but not as much for me. But this idea of certain kinds of music, just inherently the the sound of instruments being sinful. And a big thing about that is the idea of rap being sinful and Christian rap being sinful. Like this idea, because you and me are both very big supporters of like Christian rap. We have tons of artists that we support. I'll get into that in a second, but like we have a bunch of those, and there's this idea that like certain sounds are sinful that you can hear in like Christian rap, like just the regular bass hit or the drum machine or things like that. What are your opinions on like rap being like as inherently just a sinful genre?
I think it being sinful is wrong. I don't think that God's looking at rap and like that's sinful music.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. There's nowhere. So the people that say that rap is sinful or like rock is sinful is they take the verse from. I wish I had it. The verse from I think it is Colossians about the that you should be singing hymns and songs of great to God, and they take that as literal hymns and not just like. Other way I see it is that the hymns are just music and praises to God.
They didn't have the Great American Hymn Book back in the day of Jesus. America didn't existed. Most hymns were like created afterward. That's another thing that people don't understand about the KJV Bible, that they say it descended straight from heaven and it is the literal word of God and no other translation can be. The KJV is literally a translation taken from another translation. It's taken from the works of Tyndale and another Bible that was already in production in like the English Empire, I think it was, and during when the printing press wasn't created to print the Bible, it was literally creating a version of the Bible that preceded the King James Bible and was taken from like the Dead Sea Scrolls or whatever, like not the Dead Sea Scrolls, they didn't discover those for a while, but it's taken from manuscripts from like the monks copying down the Bible for years and years and years, translated finally into English. It was just that the King James Bible was the first one. It's like the second or third one translated from a different language finally being in English. So if you say that like that's not true, then if the KJV Bible were translated into another language, you would have to say something like that Bible is illegitimately made. Like, but how can it be in a different language? Because all that KJV was is new language now.
Yeah. So it says in Colossians 3:16, "Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord." Singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord.
Exactly. You got to focus on what the passage is actually encouraging us about.
Not just specific hymns. Like in the Bible, all they had was hymns. Like all they had was those.
Well, not even. They had psalms, which were literally like songs of rhythm, kind of like rap. Like they basically, it was like R&B of the Bible, this klezmer type music that they played with like the certain instruments. Lots of percussion too.
So if we're taking only that verse, then we should only be singing psalms.
Yeah, exactly. And then you would have to say, or you would say, if it's translated as only singing hymns, you'd say you can only sing the songs written from the 1600s to the 1800s, and can only be played on this certain kind of organ. Yeah. And all of the Psalms of David, you cannot sing them because you're not supposed to sing anything that's not hymns. He doesn't say psalms, says hymns.
Yeah.
So,
let me just, now that we're diving into this, we just opened what do you call it? Opened a can of worms, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll just read the context of there. "Therefore, as the elect of God, holy and beloved, but put on tender mercies, kindness, humility, meekness, long-suffering, bearing with one another, and forgiving one another. If anyone has a complaint against another, even as Christ forgave you, so you must do. But above all these things, put on love, which is the bond of perfection. And let the peace of God rule in your hearts, to which also you are called in one body, and be thankful. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord. And whatever you do in the word or deed, do all in the name of Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God and Father through him."
Yep. So you can see clearly the passage is talking to us about
praising God,
like directing our focus to God, and the hymn is just referring to. Also, hymn is also a translation from another word, so you can't expect it literally means what our definition of hymns today is.
Yeah.
So all in all, I think it's talking about music glorifying God, which is the kind of music we listen to.
Yes, there's obviously bad rap.
Yeah.
But
There's clearly tons of bad rap. We're
But
talking
the
about
word RAP is not bad.
exactly. And now I'd like to get into a few songs, or not songs here, but like artists. I'd like to run through a few of them. Some of the ones that encourage us are like our favorite artists. So I wrote down a list here. We can go through each one of them. Starting off with NF. He can be a bit dark, I'd say.
Yeah.
He talks about real struggles, but
Which can be encouraging that here's this guy who went through it.
He went through it. He seriously did. He went through the gauntlet of it, and like
Right.
he's finally out on the other side, and
Right.
you have to learn to cope. You can't sing happy songs if all the time. You can't sing happy songs if you haven't like
Had happiness, I guess.
well, if you're struggling to figure out what happiness is because you haven't
Yeah.
experienced it, you can't pretend. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm Christian now. Now all I can sing is happy songs." There is recovery. There is
Also, his music is like happiness isn't all the time. Like almost like it's almost like it seems like most of human life is spent in struggles and sadness and mourning and struggles. And happiness is only like a little bit of your life.
It's good to have the kind of music that he has because it tells other people you're not alone in this.
Yeah,
I went through it too.
Yeah,
now let's talk on it together. We don't have to brood over it for a while, but he wants to let the audience know that we can bond over this.
Yeah.
And we can come out of it together. Okay, so yeah. Also, NF, shout out to Marissa Enderby, washing dishes at camp.
Oh,
me, and her singing that.
Let You Down.
Let You Down. What is it? The bridge at the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to that. That song's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, next KB. This is like how you got me started on Christian rap. Was actually
Shout out to Jeremiah. He started me on Christian rap with KB.
Really, he did.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Yeah.
I didn't actually know that.
Yep.
But yeah, KB. He's really what got me started. I got a slow start with it. Like when you introduced him to me, I was like, I'm not sure I'm on board. Cause he is like, it's definitely way blacker of rap than I was used to.
Yeah.
Like hearing just in regular music, and it was quite the switch over from like contemporary Christian music straight to KB, and he's got like his slightly Latin kind of rap, and but his songs are good. Like especially Miracles. Miracles is probably my favorite by him.
Or 10K.
10K is definitely a solid second. So yeah, 10K. He was really awesome. Also, this one's newer. We're gonna go through the some more older ones later, but Forrest Frank is actually a new one that's just popped on the scene. Like,
I was popping him yesterday.
Yeah, I finally decided. I was rejecting it for like
Still
the longest
white.
time. I was like, because when they put what is it, A Good Day on the radio.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not sure if I'm all in on this, and like. Because I'm like, okay, it's kind of nice, but I don't really want to say because they're like, of all the rappers they could have picked, they picked this one guy and put him on the radio, and now he's like over 5 million, and like Lecrae, who's like the top of the top, who I'm sure we both had a Lecrae minute.
Yeah.
Like he's only like still at 2.7 million, and just putting this one Good Day song on the radio, like Forrest Frank's like way surpassing him, and he's like, yeah, but like I decided he is genuine, so I'm aboard that Forrest Frank train, that Heaven on This Earth train, which is a banger.
Yep.
Also, he had a new song, Sunrise, which I just want to say it straight out here. When I heard that song for the first time, I'm like, this is going on the radio. This has Good Day vibes.
Yeah.
So it's like the same kind of
What's
song.
that one that he starts like, it's kind of like a punk rock. It's kind of more like a punk rock in the beginning. You've played it for me a couple times. Is it Amazing Grace? No, it's no, it's not. I don't know.
Is it Jesus Paid It All?
Yeah, Jesus Paid It All.
Oh, I love that song. That one's like one of his best ones too. When I first heard that one,
is that the one where he's like,
I ran away from fights when I should have stood my ground?
No, and then he's like, I took a break, okay, and now it's back to work.
Oh, that's Heaven on This Earth.
Okay.
That one's Heaven on This Earth. That one is so good. Yeah, definitely listen to Heaven on This Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes hard in that one. Like, I'm all aboard the Forrest Frank train. Next one, Holvey. This one I had like
my top listener last year.
Really, I had like the briefest of brief Holvey minutes with Cold Nights.
Okay.
That was like I almost didn't even go further than that. Like I listened to some, but I never got like a second favorite Holvey song.
Back to the Wick.
Like, yeah, but I never got deep
Remember
into
us on
him.
the way to camp in Lucas's car with the bass all the way up on
Oh,
the back
yeah.
of the wick?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that. The nice cramped little car.
Yeah. Shout out Lucas Kern.
Okay. Next song we had, Mike Malagi's.
Oh boy.
Oh man, this is probably my top listen already this year.
Oh,
That
yeah,
guy
for sure.
is a savage. That guy's a freaking savage. Like all of his, every single one of his lines is excellent.
Yes.
Uh,
the lines he says, I was like, how'd you come up with that?
I know. Like his latest one, I can't remember what it was called.
Is it War?
No, but I want to talk about his song "Taking the Lead." That one is one of his best songs. Look up "Taking the Lead" by Mike Malagies. It just smelled like Malagies with like
Yeah.
IES at the end. So yeah, he's
We
incredible.
can put them in the description of this video.
Yeah, we probably could. We probably can. Anyway,
All of
he's
them.
like
Put them all in the.
what? Oh.
Put them all in the description.
That might be a little.
Not
more...
all the songs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just the artists.
I can try. I can see what I can do. But anyway, his songs are freaking amazing. Like they're like some of the best songs. Like his words have so much depth and meaning to him. Like even a single song is almost like a full sermon. Like he's
Right.
giving you he's incredible. Like what's your favorite Mike Malachi song that you would say?
Probably either Championship, Amazing Grace.
Amazing Grace is great.
There's another one, I can't ever remember the name of it.
I love Plan A too.
The one where Plan A is good, and the one where he says, I feel like Kobe and Shaq when he said the job isn't done.
I like the one where he's like, all my lines got him hooked like Kareem.
Yeah.
That's Taking the Lead.
Yeah.
Taking the Lead is all around great song. Satan ain't mad that I open the Bible. Satan is mad that I go out and live it.
The devil thought he had won the
Oh,
devil
that
thought,
one's good. Yeah.
What is it? The devil thought he won until
Wait,
my head was down and the devil thought I won, but then I said amen.
Yeah, that song. Oh man, it got me the other day. Like driving home from work, like I forgot about that. It's amazing. Just a top recommendation of the week.
Yeah. For
Anyway,
sure.
a few more mentions like of ones we just got into. Schema Boy, we got a couple of his.
Yeah.
Up on our playlist. Gio,
Yep.
he's got like that mellow guitar kind of sound.
Yeah, he's more of a soft rap is even a thing.
Yeah. And then Mike Teasy's the last one, which
Yeah.
he's got some good ones. Baba going viral.
Yeah, Baba going viral like it's TikTok.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, those are rap artists. Absolutely love that. So for the end of this podcast, I came up with a segment. We're gonna do this every single interview, and I let you see the questions ahead of time, just because after this, people are gonna know what the questions are. We're gonna ask the same set of 12 questions to every people who come on this podcast. Every person that comes on, we're gonna ask these. And so they're just kind of like rapid fire. You can answer these. I let you see them ahead of time, just so that you know. So I'm just gonna start out with the questions. The first one: what's the last dream that you had that you can remember?
Last night, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it was. I was snowmobiling, and
why can I totally believe that you dream about snowmobiling?
it actually snowed a lot last night, and I'm super excited to get on the trails if they open up this weekend because we're supposed to get like 4 or 5 more inches this weekend.
Nice.
And the trails might open, and so anyways, I was snowmobiling, and all of a sudden, I started flying in the sky, and I'm snowmobiling in the clouds. I'm snowmobiling in the clouds. And then I woke up. That's all I can remember.
Bro, my dreams are all like, I wish I could have these kind of dreams that you guys have, like you guys talk about. All my dreams are like dumb adult nightmares of like, oh no, I have to file my taxes. What? It's like the extent of like my nightmares. No, I always have the dumbest dreams. Like I had a dumb one the other night. I can't remember it now, but it was so incredibly dumb. I don't even like. And like you have the ones that just like affect you throughout the entire day. Like that's the kind of dumb dreams. All right, what is in your pockets right now?
My wallet.
In your wallet?
That's it. Well, usually my phone, but it's in my hand right now because I'm looking at the next questions.
Okay, yeah. So the question is, what is in your pockets right now and why?
Because I might need to buy Taco Bell in a little bit.
That's a good answer. All right, next one: Coke or Pepsi?
Oh, Pepsi for sure.
I
Get
gotta agree
Coke
with that.
out of
Yeah.
here.
Coke gives me the squirts like nobody's business. All right. If you were arrested with no explanation, what would your friends and family assume that you did?
I saw this one. I started laughing because this is a hilarious question.
Yeah, I can.
Because it's super funny. What would it be? If I got arrested,
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably like
Like
I
for
don't know.
me, it'd probably be like I wrote propaganda or something for Trump or something, and I got
Yeah,
arrested.
you probably say something stupid on the internet.
Yeah, that's true. I would say something idiotic, and I get rated.
You'd be like, "Oh, people wouldn't take this wrong." Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I guess they did.
So, so what would you do? Would it be like
Speeding,
speeding?
going too fast on a snowmobile.
Oh, snowmobiling on clouds. That's not allowed.
No, I don't know. What would you say?
What would I say for like me?
No, for me.
For you? I guess I am part of your friends and family, so I should have a guess.
Like I can't think of anything. I'm just a good boy.
I'm guessing that it would be like you'd like drove a tractor over a car or something.
Probably. I'd probably like run someone over on the tractor, which I have done a lot in my dreams.
I thought those last 3 words I was not expecting, so I was kind of shocked.
I've had a lot of when I first started driving tractor. Side story. I had a lot of dreams of me not being able to reach the pedals and like just running people over. And I would actually be like laying on the ground, like trying to press down and like brake pedal, and my foot would start hurting when I wake up. I'm like, why is my foot always hurting? It's because I'm actually trying to step on the brake pedal.
Wow. Okay. Trauma stories uncovered here. What's a conspiracy theory that you almost believe? Or better yet, what's a conspiracy theory you do believe?
What's a conspiracy theory? I don't know. I don't really know. I'm not really big in the conspiracy beliefs.
All right. So
Probably the Great Wall of China was made by aliens.
what?
I'm just kidding.
There's no way.
I saw it the other day, but did you know it's 13,000 miles long?
13,000?
Yes.
Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot of miles.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. What's your go-to lie to get out of things? If you can't think of anything, I'll...
Just saying I did.
Wait. Did
And
something
then
that you didn't do?
My follow up, just saying, it's like, Matthew, did you do this? And then my follow up is like, yeah, I did it. And it's like, and then my follow up is like, do you really think I would lie to you?
Oh, wow, savage. Yeah.
That's my go to.
Wow. That'll work. That'll work. If you could haunt one person after you die, who would it be and why? If you like, as your ghost would haunt a person, like a single person in existence, who would you choose to haunt?
It'd be fun to haunt Kesha.
Hey, that's an answer I like to hear. Yeah. Yes. All right.
Actually, no. I actually probably wouldn't. It probably wouldn't be. No, never mind. Never mind. I'll haunt a guy. Never mind. maybe like Drake.
You know, that's what...
Actually, no, Kendrick Lamar.
No, that's what Kendrick Lamar is doing right now. His ghost is haunting Drake like crazy. You think he dumped all over that guy in the Super Bowl? There were like 3 like huge, like, because his main song is like a diss track on Drake.
Yeah.
Like, the whole crowd is like dumping all over him.
Yeah.
Anyway, if your personality were a fast food item, what would it be?
Actually, the cheesy steak burrito at Taco Bell.
That would be your personality.
Yes.
Because you're cheesy.
Yes.
And you're also.
Oh no, not because it's like, it's got flavors you would not expect in it. It's like you wouldn't expect something out of me. I'm kind of like, kind of a little bland on the outside.
You got some surprises in store.
Exactly. You never know what's gonna come out of my mouth.
That's true. We've seen some things. We've heard some things we shouldn't have. If your life were a movie, what would the title be, and what genre would it actually end up being?
Probably action.
So you get an action movie, what would the title be?
It would be like...
Snowmobiling on the clouds?
No, it would be like...
Cloudmobiler.
I don't know. That's an interesting question. I should have prepared for that a little bit more. It would be like... I'm trying to look at my life. I'm kind of... Got a lot of energy. I like people.
I got one for you. White men can't jump.
How about maybe Boy Meets World?
There you go. What's the last thing you Googled? Go to
Why you Googled the verse in the Bible about the hymns?
Oh, that's good. You got lucky. The verse about the hymns. What's the second last thing you Googled?
The weather.
You just literally type of weather.
The bucks. The jargon definition.
Oh, okay. So you just looked up stuff.
Wendy's prices.
There's a good one. Alright. What's your favorite book of the Bible?
Probably like Proverbs or Ecclesiastes. I like Ecclesiastes. I'm going through it right now. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah, there is. It's really good. Yeah, so finally, why should we have you on every episode?
Because the people love me.
Well, we'll see.
I can bring the sports bill update.
That's true. You actually have a reason that you would come on the podcast.
My spunky personality give you another
Spunky.
give you another not something to not echo on.
That's true. That's true. More people to outrage, which is just what we want.
Another opinion.
All right. Okay, so that's our 12 questions. So thanks for doing the interview show with us today.
Yeah, it was nice. We had some good topics and conversations.
We got deep. This is gonna be a great interview.
Yes.
So you could actually be found on YouTube at BuckDuck5337 for weird videos.
Yep.
And then actually BuckDuck2 for like some remixes and some other content from me.
We have some NPC videos on there.
Oh, I forgot all about those.
The truck NPC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
look it up.
Definitely check that out. BuckDuck5337. There's a lot of BuckDucks out there, so definitely BuckDuck5337.
Yeah.
And then what's your Instagram? If people want to find you on there.
I'm up right now.
I'm guessing it's like Matthew Gitto or something.
Yeah, it's just Matthew Gitto, I think. Yeah, just Matthew Gitto.
Matthew Gitto on Twitter. Any spaces or underscores or anything?
Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just Matthew Gitto.
Okay. So, yep, you can find him there. So, thanks for being on the podcast today. Really excited about seeing you join us on the real show eventually. Definitely glad that we could start off this interview show, get a feel for what it's going to be like. So, I'm glad we could do this today. All right. So,
see you, everyone. Bye.
Doesn't matter if you didn't like this interview because it's not your echo chamber.
Yeah. See you in 5 weeks.
Yeah, yes. Well, we'll be coming soon. Also, drink Baja Blast.
Yes.
Bye.
Make sure to follow us on Spotify at Not Your Echo Chamber Podcast and comment on the episode. Subscribe and comment on YouTube as well. We are on Twitter at No Echo Pod. Hit us up there for comments and show ideas. We may end up using them on the podcast one day. Until next time, remember that only our opinions of everything matter. Repeat line. End of speech.
Hold on, coughing sesh real quick. Anyway. I should have done this before the podcast. Cut this bit out.
Editor Christopher, edit this out.
Exactly. Editor me. Okay, you can go back. Alright, anyways.
If you wanna climb alone or just FaceTime on your phone, take the stairs, walk it up. Ain't no magic, no shortcut. Ain't no fairy tale tonight. Just a tower out of sight.